Central banks hike rates bad for silver. This needs to stop. Let's begin. Reuters tells us Japan hiked interest rates, so why is the yen falling? This is really surprising, and it's so close to home as we go through a lot of anxiety and thought about interest rates this past week. According to Reuters, a week ago, Japan raised interest rates for the first time since 2007 in a move that marked a historic shift in monetary policy, yet the currency fell. Now, my theory on life is to follow the success of others. That's how I see everything. See what somebody's doing correctly and emulate them. And likewise, the reverse is true for that. If something's failing, if something's not working, if somebody's doing something similar to me and it's not working, then I don't do that, right? Now, looking at Japan and what's going on the past couple of days is very telling for us, and specifically us here in this world of stacking silver and stacking precious metals. So listen to this. It says the currency fell, even though they hiked rates. Now, we know that that's the opposite of what's supposed to happen. Interest rates go up, people put their investments into that currency, and metals go down, right? That's what's supposed to happen. That's not what happened in Japan. So it says now Japanese officials are talking of official intervention to prop it up. It traded at 151 per dollar on Friday, its weakest this year, and within a whisker of levels that drew intervention in 2022. It also made long-term lows versus the euro and Aussie last week. The article says a weaker yen is a boon for Japanese exporters. It's a boon for their profits, right? But it can squeeze households by increasing import costs. Of course, it's just like what we've been going through with inflation and our dollar decreasing in value. The people of Japan, I'm sure, are living through a similar experience, if not even more anxiety-ridden, because interest rates are going up and it's not working. So the article says, here's what's behind the selling. News reports, including from Reuters, foreshadowed the Bank of Japan's landmark exit from negative interest rates in the lead up to the decision. So did economic conditions with sharply rising wages suggesting sustainable inflation and less need for sub-zero rates or policies to cap government bond yields? I know that's a mouthful, but the part that is very similar to what we are experiencing here is the rising wages. Very similar to us. We've had strong wages. We're experiencing a tight labor market with strong wages following inflation. That's exactly what we want. And we want that because it gives us bargaining power. As all of us here in this silver stacking community, we are regular, everyday people that work regular jobs, and we want a tight labor market. We want strong wages. If inflation's going up, we want our wages to go up. That's the ideal. That's exactly what we want. So in Japan, we're seeing the similar. We're mirroring that. We're seeing something similar. They're getting inflation. Their dollars weakened, right? The yen is weakened, but they're getting sharp wages. So this is really frightening for us here as we look ahead to 2024, and we think about our central bank, our Federal Reserve, cutting rates, right, 3 times by the end of 2024. That's all the talk this past week. But if things are not following the typical pattern of what they're supposed to follow, that's really gives uncertainty as I look at it. And uncertainty is always what makes me turn to stacking silver and stacking precious metals. That's like the number one driver for me is uncertainty. It's not knowing what's coming next. I know I'm not alone on that. It's not knowing what's coming next, and it's not having any control over the strength of the dollar. It's not having any control over policies that impact the dollar. That's why I'm always in on precious metals. And silver, even though it remains quite stagnant, right? We saw a little tiny bump a couple of weeks ago, but now it's really remaining quite stagnant. A good buy price, of course, still a good buy price, absolutely a good buy price. But it's that uncertainty that keeps me as a silver stacker. This article continues. It says, the event was too well anticipated, so the market was just too well priced going into the event, said Patrick Hu, a G10 currency trader at Citi in Singapore who focuses on the yen. It says the yen fell more the day of the announcement. The article says the yen is the lowest yielding G10 currency. Ouch. Like lowest yielding G10 currency, making it ideal for carry trades. Listen to this. I mean, most of us in our silver stacking community, we don't work as day traders. We don't work, in this field. So listen to this gig. It says the yen is the lowest yielding G10 currency, making it ideal for carry trades. A carry trade is in which an investor borrows in a currency with low interest rates and invests the proceeds in a higher yielding currency. Like that, can you imagine that's your job? Maybe you're listening, maybe that is your job. I don't work in that world, but that's someone's job where they just literally are pushing buttons and shifting currencies with low interest rates and making some investments, going into higher yielding currency just constantly every day. That's the world I feel that keeps all of us interested in holding our wealth in our hands, right? Because if that's how you can make money, pressing buttons, shifting things around, looking for different currencies, looking for investments and yields all day, that's your job. That's what I feel is lacking. And I think I'm right when I speak for many of us in this silver stacking community that we want to hold our wealth in our hands and we want things to make sense. And as we see what's happening with Japan, things are not making sense. Things are not playing out the way they're supposed to. If the interest rate is hiked, then that's supposed to be a increased value. That's supposed to, if we hike our U.S. dollar, if we hike the interest rates, people go into the dollar. They go into treasuries. They go into bonds. Like that's the whole point. And then we have to wait as silver stackers and gold stackers. We have to wait for things to drop. And we are presently waiting for 2024 to play out. According to Powell, we're waiting for things to play out so that the reverse will be happening here. The interest rates will be cut, and we will see that these metals that I'm holding here, their value will greatly increase for sure. If we really see 3 cuts play out by the end of 2024, metals are certain to show a bump. Historically, that's what happens. And again, as I say that, I'm telling you, what we see in Japan is the opposite of that phrase that I just used, historically, right? History is supposed to repeat itself. And as we see things not repeating itself, that certainly does increase my uncertainty. And it makes me think, again, that I'm sticking with silver. I'm still bullish on silver. Gold continues to remain at a price that is out of my reach. I wish it wasn't. I wish I could grab some gold these days, but it is really getting up there, out of my reach. I'm going to continue to be bullish on silver, and I'm confident. I am confident that this stagnant price that we've been living with is going to move. I absolutely see that coming